Hello, my name is Eric Adams from Alpha Graphics, and I'm here to show you how to make custom canvas gallery wrap, just like this one. Alright, so first of all, let's talk about the sizing of the canvas. This one is 18 by 20, so what we do is we add 2 inches to every side. That's what's wrapping around the sides. So our final size is going to end up 22 by 24. See that? Just like that. Now, if you're doing it with us, and you don't want to incur any setup charges, you can make that size exactly the right size, a PDF of exactly the size that you want it. Now, you can assess the outside 2 inches a couple ways. You can make a border, which is black or white. You can extend your background image out there if the image is appropriate, or you can do a reverse of the last 2 inches and reverse out that last side. So that's the canvas sizing. Now, in the past, we've used these prefabricated gallery bars. All right? These are nice. Sometimes they break. Also, you have to keep every size of every quantity that you could ever need because they take a while to get, and you always want to have them on hand. So you would have to have them on hand for a large quantity for every size. Now, they also only come in specific sizes, so if you want to do a custom size, these won't work anyways. So what we do is we make them all by hand. Now, we use a standard 1x2 that you can get at any hardware store. Okay? I have pre-cut these so that you guys don't get too bored watching me use the chop saw, but as you can see, it's a 1x2. Most important is it's straight. I hand pick these things from the hardware store. I take the time to make sure that they are straight because that will affect the overall quality. Let me show you how the sizing of the stretch bars work. All right, I always make the sides full length, so my sides are going to be 20 inches. Now, to figure out the other side, you're going to take the width of that, which is 0.75 on a 1x2 generally. All right, multiply that by 2, ends up at 1.5 inches, and I'm going to take 18 inches minus 1.5 inches. So my other two, my top and bottom, are cut at 16.5 inches. Now I've also cut corners. Those help stabilize it and make it square. I make those proportional to the size of the canvas that I'm doing. So bigger ones get bigger corners. These corners look just like this. They're 45-degree angles, perfect, that I did on the chop saw. Okay, and I kept them all consistent length. That just makes it look a little bit better. All right, let's get started. So I've used a straight edge and a blade to cut this out, and as you can see, I have a consistent edge all the way around that is consistent from my image. This is going to help you square it up. I've also taken scissors and chopped a little corner off, as you can see. Okay, that's going to help make the wrap on the corners a little less bulky and look a little bit better. All right, so we're going to set this aside. We're going to take our 20 inches on the side. You always want to make sure the outside is your highest quality piece of wood. So if there are any deletions or knots or anything, you want to make sure those are on the inside because that will not affect the quality the way it looks. All right, just like that, just like that. All right, from here, I'm going to take a little bit of glue, a little wood glue. I'm going to go on the edges of your shorter lengths, okay? The ones that you subtracted the difference from. So my 16.5 inch lengths are getting glue on it. So I put glue on all 4, all right? I'm going to square it up best I can, but this is not where I'm going to do my final measurements of squareness on it. So what you just want to do is make sure that it's even all the way around, that there's no edges protruding, all right? Then you want to use a pneumatic air gun. I use 1 1/4 inch brads on there. That is the perfect size for this type of frame. I do 2 nails per joint, all right? And again, make sure they all line up. This is the time to put your pressure on and make sure they're perfect. Flip it over so that you're always working close to you and not reaching up over the table. Alright, now you got this, and it's pretty square, but not perfectly square. So I usually use a T-square to make sure that I square it up, and then I get my corners. Alright? So you're going to line this up, you're going to square it up. Perfect. right. So from there, I put the little glue on there. Make sure that these things are square. Make sure the frame's square. And then I'm going to hit 2 nails on each side. You always want to make sure this is flush here, okay? You do not want to see that through your wrap. All right, we'll do it here also. All right, double check, make sure it's square. Perfect. Once you get 2 edges square, generally the whole thing will be square, but it does not hurt to double check, always. Flip it up over. Oh. Looks like we're out of nails, but that's all right because I've already made one of these things and it looks like this. So for the sake of not wasting your time, let's put this away. We're going to be working with the one I had already previously made. Now what you want to do is always find your best front, and that's going to be the one where it's all even, all the way around. All these joints line up perfectly, okay? That's going to be your front. You're going to line it up here, and then what you're going to have to do is center it. And the way you do that is you fold it over and make sure it's an equal distance, top and bottom. Not just the sides and the middle, but make sure it is equal distance all the way around. Not only the top or the sides, but also the top and bottom. So this one needs to move a little. A bit more. All right, double check that the sides didn't move too much. It did. So this is where you want to take your time to make sure it's right. Don't rush through this area. Perfect. All right, so now that you got that square without touching it, all right, so all right, I also use a pneumatic stapler. You can also use a handheld one. Just if you do a lot of these things, it starts to wear on your hand a little bit. So what I'm going to do here first, I'm going to put one in the middle of every side. All right, I'm going to do the top, then the bottom, but I'm going to stretch it every time I do it. All right, perfect. And then we're going to stretch it this way. Around. Always make sure that the surface you're working on is not abrasive, it's not going to cut anything, it's not going to scratch your print, okay, because you're going to be moving it around a little bit. All right, so what I always tend to do here, all right, so take a look at this here. I always want my extra fold to be on the top and the bottom, that way you don't see it from the sides. All right, so you can see that here. I am going to fold it in here and make sure when I fold it in, when I fold it back, it lines up. So you can adjust that fold so that it hits exactly 90 degrees here. All right, you want to definitely stretch this out. Okay, so stretch it from the beginning, from the middle, stretch it all the way out. Make sure on both directions, get yourself a nice little corner. Now tuck that little corner into a triangle like that so that you don't see it from the sides, okay? And then put a nail in it. Now from here, tighten up your corners a little bit. You want to nail about every 4 inches. All right, now we're going to move to the second one. Again, fold it on the top. Make sure that your folds are either on the top or the bottom to avoid the bulkiness on the side. All right, so again, stretch, tuck, staple. All right, and then add a couple more staples in here. Solidify that. All right, so 2 more. So this one's gonna be on the bottom. Just always double check and make sure you're doing it right. It'd be awkward to have one corner be different than the other ones. All right, make sure always tighten it, always stretch it. Now, if you have a hard time grasping this canvas, you can always use these canvas stretcher tools or a pair of pliers to help grab it and stretch it. Been doing this a while, so I can pretty much do it by hand without issues. Last one. Always make sure your corners line up perfectly. It's worth the extra time to make sure it's done right. Little details are where it's going to look the difference between a quality product and one that you just threw together to get out the door. All right. This is my final product. Now, from here on the back, you can put hangers. Now, you can put the hangers on the side with the string in between it. You can put the little teeth in the back, but either way, this is a solid wrap that will look good for years and years to come. I appreciate you taking the time and watching this video all the way through, and I hope you have a fantastic day. Thank you.